Welcome back to Forbidden Knowledge News. I'm your host, Chris Matthew. Today my guest is Trevor Ilesley. Before I bring him on, a couple of announcements. Forbidden Knowledge News is asking for your help. This summer, we're going to be filming an awesome documentary. We'll be traveling the country, interviewing your favorite and my favorite authors, researchers, contactees, whistleblowers, and fellow podcasters. If you'd like to help us with this epic project and you enjoy the content Forbidden Knowledge News has brought you over the past 6 years and you'd like to help by leaving a donation, those links are right in the description. We have a Buy Me a Coffee or PayPal option. You can go to supportfkn.com or use the PayPal link in the description. Forbidden Knowledge News is always available on Rokfin, Minds, Odysee, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. We are once again banned from YouTube, though. We just got another strike the other day, so we are on strike number 2. Strike number 3 is probably on its way, so we shouldn't even be on YouTube at all, and you shouldn't either. That's why we have all these other wonderful options for you to choose from. And if you aren't on Rokfin yet, you're missing some amazing content. Rokfin's where you get all our premium content, you get our regular content, you also get all the premium and free content from all the creators on Rokfin. It's only $10 a month. Go to rokfin.com/FKN+, or click the link in the description. Our website is forbiddenknowledge.news. It's the home of the Forbidden Knowledge Network. We feature podcasts from our wonderful podcast community. Be sure and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And finally, check out the beautiful and powerful orgone pyramids from our friend Karen Holton. These are made from the highest quality orgone in existence. If you click the link in the description or go to KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com and use coupon code KNOWLEDGE10, you're going to get 10% off your order. Today I want to welcome Trevor Ilesley. He is the spiritual director of Bemeism and Hembaci healing and teacher of the Dark Night of the Soul. Trevor, welcome. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, Chris, for inviting me onto your show. I'm hoping it's going to be a fabulous show tonight of lots of information. So I'm really excited to greet and meet you and join in this conversation. And hopefully, along the way, we're going to awaken some people within the next hour or so.
Yes, it's going to be fantastic. I've been looking forward to this. You have a fantastic story, and we're going to discuss not only what Bemeism and Hembaci healing is, as we're going to get into your mystical spiritual experience. And this was a profound experience from Spirit that basically reminded you why you're here on Earth. Now, you have a fascinating story from which you developed a new philosophy, which we're going to discuss as well. But we've got a lot to get into, so let's start from the very beginning. Where should we start? How does your story start?
Where should we start? I mean, I keep the first part of my life pretty simple, which means I did everything a man does. You know, you find your girlfriend, you get engaged, you get married, you have children, you have grandchildren. You do your jobs. My first part of my career was fashion. So it was hair, makeup, and photography. So my gift to the world, and I did believe it was my gift because I was doing this kind of work at 11 years old. So I knew for me it was to be an incredible stylist. And, you know, I became a stylist behind the scenes, you know, doing magazine works, catwalks, TV, pop shows, pop stars, the list goes on. It was all entertainment, all fashion, and I loved making women look beautiful. So that was my job, and I loved it. And everything was great. My life was going good, business was good, life was good, relationship was great. Everything couldn't have been better, really. Let's say that was on a Monday. I went to bed on a Tuesday, and then that Tuesday night I had this incredible dream, and it was a guy that came to me in this dream, And he wanted to tell me about who I was, what I was about to do, what was the meaning of life. And in this dream, he was teaching me quantum physics. Now, I'm a hairdresser. I'm just a normal guy doing normal things. And there I am. And this is around about 30 years ago, say 28 years ago. So quantum physics really wasn't in the limelight of where it is today. And he showed me this bridge. And it was a crossing from this side of the world, it seemed, into the next world. And what this bridge was all about, it was a place when you die and you leave here. And there's two places that you can actually go to. But it's not what they say is heaven and hell. But if your normal life, let's say, seems like it's hell, then to me, what was being shown in that vision was then you just go on to the other side, you just carry that level of consciousness, you just fit right in. It's as if nothing really changed. So what he did is that he enabled me to sort of cross over this bridge and stand halfway on this bridge. And I was told to look down. And when I looked down, I heard all these voices saying, Trevor, down here, mate, over here. Trevor, it's me, it's your old mate, John. All these familiar voices. And I knew all these voices, but it was very dark. But what I didn't know what was happening, I was then sort of taken out of the body again, and I was seeing myself from a distance on this bridge, overlooking this bridge into this darkness. And as I'm paying attention to the voices and the darkness, there was these arms that were coming out across the bridge and trying to grab me and sweep me into the darkness. This will all make sense when it comes back into real life. And this man, this guide, then proceeded me to go to a different place. And it's, I would say you just call it the Light Palace. And it was an energy form, and it was completely quantum. So which meant wherever it shimmered or wherever it moved or wherever even seemed like the gentlest of wind had blown this crystal palace, everything kind of moved with it. So it was very fluid, it was very flexible. And you would get the whispers of corners in shades of shadow, where you could see some sort of structure, but other than that, it would be invisible. And I was taken to this place, and I came upon this. Now, I say a door because that's what we associate with as walking through something, and so therefore the door was relevant because we understand doors in this material world. But in that realm of spirit, the door was shown, and as soon as I touched that door, my whole system went into quantum, which means it just was scattered, it seemed, all over the place, and that nothing about me was solid. It was all in tiny, you see it on the movies now, how they do it, when you sort of kind of disappear and things like this. And he kind of pulled me into the room. I went into this room and they gave me a book. And it was a white book, and it had gold lettering on there. And in that moment of being given this incredible book, I felt this excitement of, oh my God, you're going to give me something that's no one else has got. It's, I felt the energy. I felt my whole system was alive, like nothing I've ever felt before. And as the book was handed to me, I opened the book up and there's nothing in it. And so therefore in that moment, I just could feel this energy, sort of almost in the disappointment of it or the confusion of it. And I just looked at this guide and I said, there's nothing in it. And he said to me, it's yet to be written. And within that, he then proceeded to show me all these doors of all these different eras. So like there was one door that I actually opened up, and it was back into the Roman days, and I could easily be transported back into the Roman days as if I could literally just pick up the sand that they walked upon. So so many visions in that way. And but what was important was in the dream, the first thing that was happening was I did see a light. You know, I don't know if you've ever read it, where you're asleep, but you can feel someone's either walked past you or, you know, someone's shining a light, right? So that was a part of the dream as well. And it kind of made me wake up. But the interesting thing was, is that in the dream, I thought I was out of the dream. See, I thought I'd already woken up. But little did I know, I've woken up from my dream in the dream and then gone on this amazing journey. And when I woke up the next day, I just couldn't function. When I woke up and I knew I just didn't feel right. Something felt completely wrong. I just didn't feel like me. And I walked into the bathroom and I looked at myself in the mirror, and the first thing I said is like, wow. And I did swear, I'm going to have to swear, because I said, who the fuck are you? Mm. And it was really, it was like that. I mean, how can you look at yourself, you know, I think I was about 40 at the time, and I've known myself for like the 40 years, you know, and then you look at yourself and you sort of go, who the fuck are you? And I knew something was really seriously wrong. Something inside of me felt like it had been taken over. I felt old. I felt ancient. But I felt a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom. And I felt a completely different presence. And it wasn't until my girlfriend came round that night and she let herself in through the door. She walked into the front room and I was sitting there, and the immediate reaction is like, wow, what the fuck's happened to you? And I went, I know, right? I said, yeah, I know. And then cutting that sort of story short, I went round my children's, and my children said to me, you're not my dad. And it was like, wow, what is going on? And this began this journey of trying to, what has gone on? I don't know what's gone on. I'm going crazy in one sense. My world seemed to change overnight, and wow, life just seemed to disappear. And it was like as if I was walking around in hell. Everything just looked so bad. And another thing that I really noticed was I felt like everybody was lying. And everyone was just talking utter bullshit. And what ended up happening is all of a sudden I had this strange urge to have a pen and a paper. And I'll never have a pen and a paper. I'm a hairdresser. Scissors was my life, willing to die for it to the end. And so pen and paper all of a sudden became this crazy thing of something was pouring out of me. And I had no control over it. This went on for 20 years. And I had to go to find out somebody that could help me and say, can you tell me what on earth is going wrong with me? Because I'm about to lose the plot and end up in the asylum or something.
Now, Trevor, let me ask you, when you say you felt completely different, did your tastes and things change? Did the way you feel about certain people change? Did the way you felt
Oh
about
God,
yourself? Like
yeah,
everything you said?
everything. Yes. Do you know? And here's the serious bit. I've been cutting hair since I was 11. I'm now 40. I've got an amazing business, and I work with the rich and the stars, and it couldn't have been no better. I forgot how to cut hair.
Wow.
It was if when I picked up my scissors, it's as if I'd never used them before. Yeah, it was completely weird. And so I started to seek out yeah, it should have been medical help really. But no, I started to seek out the actually, let me go the medical route just to fill the viewers in, because let's not forget that bit, because depression, for me to have depression was never heard of. Absolutely impossible. I was the funniest man you'd ever meet. And passion and creativity just oozed out of me. It was everything I loved. So to find myself feeling utterly, hopelessly lost and depressed beyond the words depression. So black was its darkness that I realized there's actually a darker color than black. And as for energy, wow, the energy of life seems like you're walking in treacle. Everything you do, all your movements, you can't get out of bed. Everything feels heavy. Your arms are heavy. You're out of energy. You're absolutely drained. And that went on. And I was going crazy. But in the moments going crazy, of course, the dreams were happening. More dreams were coming. More visions were coming. Spirit started to show itself a lot. I gave my girlfriends, you know, I say girlfriends, I had one at this particular time, and then I had another girlfriend at this particular time. And they also went through a nightmare because this spirit that I kind of really didn't take too much interest in, you know, hair, makeup, photography, glamour, fashion, you know, it's not the journey that I intended to follow. And then my girlfriends were being attacked by spirit, punched to the ground by spirit. And I was laying in bed, and my bed got lifted, and then just it slammed to the floor. Darkness surrounded the walls, which meant if I ironed a shirt to go to work, when I took that shirt off of the wall where I'd had it hanging, there was an imprint of my white shirt. So all these strange things were happening. I'd have friends around my house, and around about 11 o'clock at night, we'd all be there having a bit of fun, having a drink, having a meal, and all of a sudden the entire atmosphere of the room changed, as if my apartment had just sailed past the Antarctic. It was as if this freezing cold iceberg had just sailed right through your living room. And lots of darkness within spirit as well. So something opened up in me, some sort of portal or some realm that was between me and the spirit realm. And it got so bad, I just didn't know what was real. So for people that are in the depression and in the awakening, there can be a place where a lot of stuff happens and you have no idea of why it's happening. But I got to the story of totally understanding everything and why it happens, even down to the relationships everyone's having, even to the reason why people are depressed and why and what is this awakening all about. But the interesting thing about this is that what this spirit world was showing me and telling me, that I'm not a human being. None of us are actually human beings, because there's no truth in the word human being. And so therefore, through this struggle to find out what was happening, I went to spiritual colleges, so hoping that somebody would have my answer. So
Trevor,
I
let me
went
ask
to,
you, the information that you said that you were learning from spirit, was this coming in just like downloads or in your dreams, or you would just have this knowing? How did this information come through?
every conceivable way possible. Being awake, being asleep. Somebody might just say something out of the blue and then wonder why they've just said something. Messages, it seemed, were as simple as you put the TV on and then someone saying something on the TV and you're like, no way, that's talking to me. It's like all these symbolic gestures of ideas that have been put into your head are starting to show up in certain places, and you think, wow, what is going on here? And then your communication starts to affect you, because you're now communicating with something that you have no idea who you're communicating with. You don't know who you're arguing with. You don't know who you're questioning. Who are you looking for answers from? You know. And then I think there's a lot of people out there that are going through this confusion of being awakened as they slip from the human programming, because it's all about the programming. Spirit was saying and showing me that we've got to pull you out of the program, because it's not who you really are. The human is just an experience. We've just fitted in. We've never questioned it. But through my awakening, I got to the great question. I'm probably the only person on the planet that's actually turning around saying human beings are the wrong word. Now, for me to actually say that, that's crazy in itself, because no one has actually questioned, are you actually a human being? And so therefore, all of this information that was coming in, it was teaching me. But the fact of what it was really doing was it was reminding me. So anyone that is going through this awakening process, whether it's an upload or a download or a vision or a dream, it's all information that is something that you have known before. And that's why it resonates with people. You know, the big question is, does the spirit world exist? That's the big mystery, isn't it? Everyone wants to know, is there life after death? There's two parts to that story. Yes, there is life after death. And my life as a human being, in all of its programs of what I was supposed to do as a human being, or as a dad, or as a granddad, and now I'm a great granddad. The way that we were supposed to perform in relationships and marriages and jobs, and what we tried to achieve as success. We loved certain people, some we didn't love, some that we loved and then we hated. Some of us fell into the inner world of darkness and depression and just basically wanted to take our lives. Because why? Because we're not understanding the simple answer to what is a human being. what is a human being? And if I step back and have a look at what I would say I've transformed into, that I thought was a human being, becomes something so simple. And it's the true identity that everyone is, but they're not realizing it because there's too many identities. So is there life after death? Yes, 100% there is. And here's the thing. Deep down, everybody knows it. Now, I probably asked that question at that particular time in my transformation, and that was the moment my soul awakened and went, I'm going to show you the truth of that question. And so therefore, anyone that asks certain questions up to the universe, call it God. I used to just say, I'm just screaming at the ceiling, but it's me I'm screaming at. And I did get a voice come out of that wall, and it said, be me. So the answer to the question that I was looking for was be me. But who is me? Who is me being? And who is this that I'm connecting in with? And what it is, it's reminded me, and now my job is to remind everyone else that the breakdown that we're seeing at this moment in human society is being done on purpose. And so therefore, inside all beings at this moment, they're lost, they're confused, mental health, suicide rate's going to go up. Things are changing, the future's changing, the human is changing. Look what's happened to the human gender. It's all going crazy. But all of these titles are human being. So what was the problem with me? Why was everything breaking down? I lost everything. I was homeless for 12 years. And I had everything. And nothing mattered. And I screamed to the world of spirit. I went, you fucking left me with nothing. I was a broken man inside and out. And that's all I could scream out. You've left me with fucking nothing. And a voice came back in and said, but are you sure about that? And I said, yeah, I'm fucking 100% sure. But that took 4 years to work out what that answer was. Was I sure about that? And of course I wasn't. But what I did find out is this. All these material things, all these things that we strive for as a human being, trying to understand love even, fighting for love, fighting for survival, trying to keep a home, looking after the coffee table, maybe the most precious thing in the house. But when all of that disappears, and including your body and your mind and your energy and depression and the dark night of the soul and bipolar and anxiety and fear, you couple that up, and that's human. But when that programming breaks down, I broke through that through the help of spirit and through the help of my own spirit, because in that breakdown of that, that's when you really start to find out what is left. And it's the most important thing. And we've abandoned it. We've abused it. We let it down. We lied to it. We denied it. We didn't believe in it. And that was me. And when you look at the core of a belief system called a human, or you take spirituality as a practice, there's one thing missing. There's nothing there that is teaching you your ultimate self in self-belief. There's no belief in oneself in the human program, and it's forever in doubt. It's never good enough. It's always a failure. And it doesn't love who it is. It actually hates the way it thinks. And a lot of the times doesn't really want to be here. There's a sense or a feeling of wanting to go home because there is a better place. And we've all been shown or told about this amazing place called the Kingdom of God. So let's go there for a second as I take you on this journey. And the kingdom of the Spirit, the kingdom of God, is this amazing place where you go to, and it's all supposed to make sense. And religion has told you in certain aspects of it all, if you do good, you go to this place. If you do bad, you go to the bad place. Now, I know I'm going to be a spirit. I know everyone I meet is going to be a spirit, and I know we live on for sure. But here's the question. Where's my spirit in all of this? Where's anyone's spirit in any of this? And if you really want to find out what is the real crux and the deep-rooted core, the pain that they feel that they'll never seem to answer, do you know what that is why has God let them down when it was needed? Why didn't God hear your cries? Why didn't God help you out? Why did God only have one Son of God? Why did God not make us healers? Why did God not give us the gift of communication to the divine? Right? All of these deep-rooted questions, that's where people are pissed off. That's the question everyone's asking, and everyone looks up to that ceiling and says, fucking help me out. A sign. Give me one fucking sign to help me out, because I can't handle this. And in that moment, the belief in self, the soulful self, begins. The human programming has got us trapped. It's got us blind. It's lost. It's confused. It struggles. It has no perception. It doesn't see the world it lives in. It's not meant to, because it's got images and visions of the next world that we're going to go into. But the question here is, wow, you get to the point where you go, there's no meaning to life. I can't see the point in it all. What's the point of being here? What's the meaning of life? Who am I? Why am I going through this? Why is life so painful? Why did I lose the one I loved? Why was a child taken from me? Why did a brother of mine commit suicide? The list goes on. And what are you left with in your human life? What is it? What is the problem of the human life? And I'll tell you what the problem is, and it's one problem. And it's called human. And everyone's acting out that human program. And that human program is of poor quality. We've been mugged over. Depression is not the end of the story. Depression is an amazing story of connecting in with your soul. It's the first time your inner God, your inner soul is saying to you, I want a word with you. Now I have your attention. Because the way we're looking at life, we're not appreciating it. We're not loving life. We're not loving ourselves. We're not even expressing. We're not compassionate enough. We've not got insight. We've lost our intuition. We've lost our healing abilities. We've lost our connection to the divine self. We lost our connection to the soul's journey, which is your entire lineage. Everything inside of you is an incredible work of art, authentic beyond. It's a walking, talking, priceless work of art that we trash. We don't know how to use it. And when it crashes, who's there to help you? Who actually cares to even listen to your story? Who actually believes your crazy visions of seeing ghosts or aliens or anything you see? Who's interested? Who's bothered? So the world is blind and we're deaf and we've lost our complete lineage of who we are, our greatness of who we are. And what I was shown in the spirit and awakening my own spirit, and everyone can do this when you stop being that human programming, because human programming is going to kill you. What saved my life was connecting in with the soul and understanding just 3 letters. Be me. That's what I had left. Just me being me. And I come now from spirit. I've remembered. And I know that all this information, so all the people that are having what we call an upload in the system is like, where on earth is this stuff coming from? How do I know that? Why is that happening? Including all your dreams, they're all coming in from within you because you're activating your own DNA system. It's your body that's awakening. You're not just awakening because you can see the bullshit of what's going on in life. Your whole system is starting to ignite. And what the human being has adapted is a way of not being able to know how to communicate with 3 things: body, mind, energy. Your whole life has been an experience of them 3 things only. The way some things affected your body, the way your mind thought about it, and where did your energy go with it? We're on a planet that is fueled with fear, ultimate fear. And you know what? The fear is so great, its evilness, that the human has been adapted to just look at it and say, it's life, it happens, it's normal. That's what humans do. They've not wakened up to the fact of how bad and how evil this life really is, because when you awaken and you truly get it, you will see that basically humans have taken paradise and turned it into a shithole. But look at the human programming that you've and everyone has created within themselves, their own kingdom of self within. We've filled it with crap, absolute shit. And spirit comes in and wants to wake you up and says, can I just remind you of where you're living? Can I just remind you of how expansive and wonderful and beautiful this rock is that you're expressing a life on, that you walk around on it every day, and this great rock is hurtling through space, through galaxies, endless space of amazing pure creation. And we sit on this ball of rock, fucking struggling, thinking, what a shit life. What a shit show this has become. What a shame. The first part of the healing and awakening of the dark night of the soul is when you sense all of that. You sense that you've wasted your life. And you've sensed the way that you've treated people wasn't fair. You sense how your parents have treated you, didn't love you, maybe gave you away, maybe abused you. They programmed you. You've been being beat up since you entered this planet. So when we look at a world of what's going on, it seems everyone wants to beat somebody up because of the color of their skin, or because of a religion, or because of information, or because of truth and illusion, or because of expression. The list goes. The world has become so judgmental that we're losing the plot as a race of a species entitled to come here and witness such when you see the true beauty of where this sits, you'll be astonished in your true awakening, because the beauty, hits you rock hard, it smacks you in the face. And that's the beauty of this planet, and that's what it means to really connect into who you are and why you're here, because you're here for a real good reason. A bloody good reason. Everyone's here for a real good reason. And that human programming doesn't give you any answers. You're going to live a life with no answers. Just loads of questions. So we've got people in that dark night of the soul, and in its darkness of fear and demons, they want to kill you. There's no love there at all. There's no light whatsoever, and it's going to be stripped out of you. But here's the thing that I learned from darkness. What an amazing teacher. Wow. Because if the soul hasn't understood its darkness of this programming, that's the dark night of the soul. It experiences the whole of the darkness all at once. And for any of the people listening out there, when you go into that depression and dark night, it's just like as if the whole world's now affecting you. And the whole world has come crashing in on you. And you can sense all of its fears and its darkness and its evilness, and you suck it all in. That's the soul. That's the soul. It's taking this lot in. It's going to show you what darkness is. And in that darkness, it teaches you how we've been installed with darkness from the programming, from our parents, from everything that we've done in our lives through guilt and shames and disappointments and lies.
And Trevor, we have a priest class that is designed, and their job is to keep us from knowing this and from knowing who and what we really are. And that's a truly sad thing that our religious leaders and our supposed to be spiritual leaders are leading us down a complete wrong path of knowing and ultimate knowing in spirituality and knowing of who and what we are and what our path is. And that's another layer that you're speaking of the deception that's part of this material world.
Absolutely. 100%, because what we're doing, the awakened ones, what it is that you heard the calling. It was a calling, and mine was in about 1997. So that was quite a long time. And it was a frequency. It's a vibrancy. It was like a tune that you was trying to tune into, but you didn't know where it was coming from. And it was a signal that was being played out. So we have to ask this question: who or what put out that signal? Who put out that signal that all of a sudden we're living in this world where there's this something that's happening that we're not quite sure what's happening, and then we've got this other side of this population that's following a tune, and that tune was leading us in the first part. It was up to the 2012, you know, when everything was going to change in 2012, and a lot of people was feeling that energy, but it was all messaging. It was all coming from somewhere. It was, you were being tapped on the shoulders. Guys, you've got to awaken to your mission now. Because we came here, and that true story for me is really true, that, you know, I came from spirit. We all came from spirit, but the story has told us that you just come out of the womb and you just live this life and you die. But nothing is played out here by coincidence. Oh my God, it's just unbelievable. You didn't even pick the girl or boy or relationship, or you didn't even pick them. They have been so connected, and everyone that's looking for, you know, the soulmate or understanding what the twin flame is, you know, it's wow. Everyone you meet, literally, is everyone. You don't just meet girl meets boy. Shit, no. You've got a history in the soul. And I found when you awaken, you keep evolving, see? And even recently, my story's gone beyond things that, wow, I couldn't even make it up. I couldn't even make it up and think, well, that's a good idea. Why don't I just make that shit up? Because not only is the story of what you think is spiritual, whether you believe it or not, wow, what happened there? Something flicked in. I've got memories of this is happening, that's happening. What is it? It's still a little bit flaky. But when you connect in with your own spirit and your own DNA, your own intelligence, spirit is an intelligence. So we're coming into this awakening, that these people that are awakening, everyone that's had that calling, what it's doing is awakening your own intelligence. And in your intelligence is the blueprint. And in your DNA, which science for numerous years have told you that out of the 12 strands, 10 strands is junk. In this awakening, all of that opens up. And that's where you start to heal yourself. Because I come as a healer. I bring a new code. I bring a new map. I bring a new understanding, a new level of consciousness, a new awareness. But you know what I love about what I bring? It's not flaky. It's streetwise. It's real. And you know what I've discovered in my transformation and what I would say my spirituality is that I've had to make sure it worked. So it's no good me telling the world that says, oh my God, guess what I've discovered? You can actually heal yourself, right? Or, oh my God, you never guess what? I've just healed somebody. It's a miracle. In my writings and in my channeling and in my awakening, I had all that information. I had all the words. Got all the words. It's coming up. It's coming in. Got all the words. Does it work though? Well, I don't know. I've got the words. And then you go through these experiences as a soul, as you awaken. Initiations, they are. And you're being tested to see whether or not you've truly learned your initiations and understood your intelligence. And so therefore, could I heal? My spirit, my soul was telling me, yes, I could. And I healed myself on many, many different levels. But could I do it? Was it a fluke? Maybe it was a fluke. Maybe something just happened. And then this belief system in you becomes so evolved that the true greatness of who we are and who the true awakeners are the healers, because the healers are non-existent. There's every conceivable soul on this planet. Where's the healers? The true healers, the natural born gifted healers that know their shit. And so therefore, people were being presented to me in absolutely strange ways, asking if I could heal them. So I was being given the opportunity. And here's the thing, you have to face a lot of humiliation, because you're going to get a person that's going to come in front of you and you're going to use these stupid words and don't even know them and say, I can heal that. Do you want to be healed? And I used to think to myself, wow, what a fucking stupid statement. But it was in my energy to say that and to do that. So I found the ability to heal, to be intuitive, to be psychic, medium, clairvoyant, to be able to leave the body, to be able to go into the spirit world, to be able to receive messages, but most importantly, to discover how to utilize body, mind, energy. Could I heal this body? Could I heal this mind? Now, this mind wanted me dead for a long time. But when I got rid of that human programming, this mind became an amazing teacher, an absolutely amazing teacher. And it guided me and spoke to me. And body, mind, and energy was working together as one unit, one beamy being, just being me. And I could do all of these gifts. So here's the problem. Human being is a slave to a system that it will never find its way out of. And I'll tell you for why. Because as long as we're calling ourselves human beings, you'll only see life in the human way. When people go into the spiritual aspects, what is the spiritual aspects? The spiritual aspects is the opposite to the human, hoping that your spiritual aspect or teaching or training as answers to what on earth is going on in your material world. So it's two different perceptions. Perception of the human, perception of what spirituality is. What is spirituality all about? Well, you know. What does it do? Let's step back and let's see what spirituality does. Let's step back and have a real good look at the world right now, with all of its religions, with all these spiritual practices and beliefs. This is the world that we live in, knowing that all of that exists. But this is the world that we're living in, whilst all of that is existing. And every religion believes in love, oneness, family, cooperation, a greater place that we go to. They all do. How many people, what's the percentage of people, humans, how many actually believe there is a something? But here's the problem. When are you going to know that you are the something? When, as human beings, going to snap out of it and realize the ultimate story, their journey, this is it. This is it. And we live it in a life of fear. The true awakening is freedom from fear. It's not about fighting for wars. It's not fighting over color and justice. It's not fighting over this pandemic. It's not fighting over who's right or wrong. The true freedom of the soul is, do you know what? I've had enough. of being human. That's the ultimate sense of freedom, because when that human falls away and there's nothing left, that's when the soul takes over. And that's what I teach. I teach that journey, because from when you let go of the programming of the human that's kept you in the box of limitation, when the human falls away, the soul leads the way. And the fear of that is, on the soulful journey, why people feel scared in the dark night of the soul, is that they're very scared of who they may become. I became a messenger. I became a messenger from spirit. I became an amazing healer. I have more love, compassion, understanding, wisdom, 1,000 times greater than I had as a hairdresser.
Right.
I'll just cut your hair. That's it. I made you look good on your wedding day. Right?
Right.
So if I can transform, and I'm just a normal guy, dad, granddad, great-granddad, just normal guy. But there's nothing normal about us. And I think that inside everyone, that very thing that they seek, that they search for, that's the soul. That's your authentic blueprint. That's the one that you have an intelligent communication with. And then that intelligence will guide you home, as it is guiding me home. So when you fully embody the true aspect of who you are, your body and your mind is working together. It's communicating. It's giving and receiving information. It's a vibration. It's a frequency. So how do I heal somebody? I use vibration and frequency. And you know what? Do you know what the craziest thing is? It's natural. It is the most, listen, it wasn't natural. It was a lot of hard work, a hell of a lot of hard work to try and find out what is the truth in my message and does it work? And the truth is so astoundingly simple, because it's just be me. That's the answer. That's the message I bring from spirit. Spirit said, just be me, be your spirit. And you had 2 jobs: love self, love life.
Trevor, I think that's a perfect message, and I want to get your thoughts on something before we move away from something that I mentioned a little while ago. I mentioned that they have a vested interest in keeping us from knowing these things that we're discussing right now about ourselves. One of the big questions within this community is why. Why are there certain few of those individuals out there that do not want the rest of us to know these things about ourselves? Is it because they do not want to become, part of the, you could say, kingdom of heaven? Is they don't want to have the gifts and benefits of everything that we naturally have, and they can't get it, so they don't want everyone else? What do you think about that? Why is it that there's a certain few that don't want this?
I don't even think about that, because I know what this is all about, because 25 years ago, when I was communicating and was writing some incredible far out stuff, and it spoke about Armageddon. And be honest with you, being illiterate, which I am, and I've never read a book, it was about Armageddon. Well, at that time, I probably didn't know how to spell Armageddon. I had no real idea or connection to what Armageddon meant, other than the film Bruce Willis was in when he had to save the world from Armageddon by stopping the comet from crashing into the Earth. But the spirit was warning me that Armageddon was coming. And I used to think, wow, what? This diet, that's way out there for me and that. But there's only one battle here that's going on, and it is between the dark and the light. It's as simple as that. Everything that is going on is been planned, and the reason why it's been planned is because this is a deep-rooted prophecy. This is the most amazing turning point in not only in the history of humanity, but the war is between only one separation, and that's light and dark. Now, the dark have been running everything for a long time, and the light have been just there in the background, in the balance, just getting on doing what they're doing. But when the calling came in, the light was ignited even more so. And the darkness knew this. So when you look at Facebooks and things like that, it's become whose awakening program, so they can see how the world of the humans, the slaves, we can see how they're acting, we can see where they're going. Oh, they're using things like, well, I'm spiritual but not religious. Well, where's that all coming from? Oh, right, they're all looking at love, they're all looking at consciousness, they're all looking at evolution, they're becoming life coaches, they're becoming compassionate, they're starting to get into healing crystals, they're getting into tarot, psychic, mediums, clairvoyant. Oh, the whole spiritual nation is flourishing, and the darkness says, oh no, it's not. We're going to have to stop this. And in this big, great scheme of things, you know, I was going through this darkness of trying to become the light, of trying to bring a great message, a message that bloody works, you know. And even in the invisible game of darkness and spirit, I called it angel chess. And it was a game that I had to play that was unseen. And this is what's been going on. This darkness is playing its game unseen, unbeknown to the world, because the world of humans have just fitted in. But stop and think about it. They've never educated you in literally nothing. What do you know about anything? Not you personally, but I mean, what do people know about anything that's done? So everything has been just drip fed from the moment you was into the system. So the reason why they wouldn't want you out of the system would be the most obvious thing, is that they would lose control, because the fight is over the reality of this planet. It's over the perception of who owns this planet. Well, in my eyes and what I know, one, this is what I would say is the kingdom of God. So forget the idea that you're going to the kingdom of God and thinking there is a greater one, because this really is the greater one. That's another story. But this is incredible. This is beyond words, this planet. They want this as shit as they possibly can get it. They want slaves. They want people working for them. And here's the crazy thing. The people have given the power. They don't have the power. We've gave them the power. Why have they got all the money? Because we gave them all the money. It's us. It's us, the creative beings that have created literally everything on this planet. Everything. And all what you would say is the darkness. Politicians, people in control, people with money. They don't give a shit about you. They want to control you, because what else can they control? So they want to control the world. They want to control you. They want to control the being. They want to steal your soul. And in the future, I don't even think there'd be such a talk as soul, spirit, God. I don't think there'll be such a thing as people believing in a religion even. Because what's been happening here is the more people awaken, the more they're going to bring darkness upon us. And it's down to us, the awakened ones, to say, all right, okay, you're up in your game, are you? Because we can see the game, and it's very childish. It's kids in a playground. But when you go to the ultimate level of it, it's dark soul. Dark soul, there's two ways we can look at a dark soul. Dark souls are somebody that has the knowledge and the information, but they're not going to give it to you. So that's a dark soul. You can have a dark soul that's dark because it has no knowledge. So that can be a normal being that we would class as being a darkened soul, not because of its own fault, but maybe because of the way its life, maybe it just didn't work out for him. Maybe he's very angry with the world, maybe angry with himself, and feels unloved, and all of these things. That's when you're captured by that darkness. So you believe in the darkness because that's how we've been taught. But the awakening people, oh wow, we're a threat. We are the only people that is going to make a difference. And so therefore the challenge for us has been very difficult. And that's why people in the dark night of the soul have endured pain and fear beyond anything they've ever experienced. And nothing's really happening on the outside world that's actually making that happen. Because that's the training. Because darkness is purely running on fear. And that fear will become so strong, they'll even just have to just mention something without even creating something. And the humans will be asking and begging for their help. We've lost the gift. We've lost the power. We've lost any sense of any meaning of what the basic fundamental reason of being a human being is. We're sick. Humanity is sick. How come we're sick when we live in a world of such plenty? And I look at my ancestral lineage and I think, wow, you didn't even have a headache tablet, a plaster, a simple something just to make their day feel okay. Didn't have glasses. They didn't have hearing aids. They didn't have nothing. And our ancestors are connected to us. And we're not just single people here. We are the soul of souls. We have immense power because I know what can be done with that. Put it this way. Let me put it in a different way. I know what dark power can do. People do know what dark power can do. Do you know why? Because people do use it. They're using it. And when you start to get into the field of understanding what is the reality of life, and you get into this, what we say is the world of spirit. So where do you think spirit is? You know, not you, I'm talking to people, but, you know, where is spirit? Well, one, I'm wearing it. Here it is. When that human slips away, when this suit peels away, wow, there it is. There it is. So a spiritual person truly is one that already knows it's dead in a way, and it operates from a world of being in the spirit, because from the spiritual aspect is that I'm now seeing beyond my human ways. So my perception, my intentions, even if it's just the meaning of my life, is purely from the basis of knowing that I don't die and I will be spiritual and I will go into that spirit world and I will look back at my life because I've seen everyone else's life. I've seen the records. I know in my DNA is the records, and all of these souls of souls that I didn't know who I am, but I've just discovered and worked out, and documentation is that I come from 1,000 years of preachers. I've just found the lineage. So when I look at myself now, and I had that one great big question that said, well, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know why. Why am I doing it? Big why. It's the why question. And that was my final question. And my final answer is that all of a sudden, all of this information was known to me. And it's as if the story of life just changed and all this information coming in, and all of a sudden my lineage was showing up all over the place and said, this is why you do what you do, because you carry the bloodline of a preacher. And so therefore now I'm understanding that my inner self, soul, is wanting to preach this. But Trevor Ilesley, the hairdresser, no way. Hairdressing, glamour, women, lovely, thank you, perfect, man's world, brilliant. No, soulful world, preacher, got a message, and you've got to give it to the world. And it's like, but I'm not. Oh, we'll see about that. And it also works out, I come from a lineage of King Edward III. So I come from royalty. And two of my ancestors actually edited the Bible. Wow. And there I am on this planet human life thinking, my life's shit. And my family must have been shit as well. They must have been useless. But no. And it works out that everything that's been coming up from within me is from my lineage. And they've been showing the pathway. They've been showing the way. Now, these preachers, and they're good preachers, and they've been documented. And these preachers changed all the other preachers. There was the preacher of preachers, because laws had changed. And if you don't adhere by them laws, then you will be killed. Your head will come off and leave its shoulders. You will be burnt as a witch. All of this shit was going on. And when I look at it today, it's the same thing that's saying the same thing, that if you go against the system, we're coming for you.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that at this moment, because they do not want love. Now, I don't speak too much about love, but they don't even like naturalness. Because you know why? They don't create anything. These people that own everything, they don't create nothing. So if the people all of a sudden woke up and we just gave them nothing, they can't survive in the world, because it's us that's fed them. The same in the darkness of the spirit. It's not until everyone's in their addictions, in their depressions, in their anxiety, they feed that dark spirit, and dark spirit attaches to them. And it's so true. And so therefore, when we die and we go into that spirit world, you know, on my deathbed, I didn't want that moment where it went. I didn't want to go into the spirit world and the spirit say to me, tell me about your life. And I go, what fucking life? So, what do you mean? What did I think about it? I thought, be honest with you, fucking disappointing. Fucking pain, struggle. I don't know, I didn't get it. I don't know. And then, wow, I didn't want that. I didn't want to spend 70, 80 years of my life going, I have no idea who I am. I have no idea what it all means. But I do now, and I do know that we are here for the takeover, and it's happening. And it's in our own strength now, and it's in our own growing, and we've got to get really real. This is not an 𝗘𝗵𝗂𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃 thing and let's pray that something happens. This ain't about praying. The warriors are here. I believe the true Christ messengers are here. I believe there are people here that are being filled with information that has come from different dimensions. I believe the healers are here. I believe what we've lacked in this world, especially for the women, I feel that the man's world completely stripped women of its divine feminineship.
Yeah.
So healers, people that are awakening, they bring a lot of feminism, not feminism, the feminine aspect to the planet, because that is definitely what's missing. Because when we start to understand what darkness is all male, it's all masculine. Let's face it, you're told God is he. I think Christianity says amen. Why is it amen? Why isn't it a woman? Why is it called a men? So we're breaking out of all systems. All systems have got to go. Everything. Because that's what the darkness want. They want a new system. But the awakening ones also want the new system. Because that's what we're trained for. That's what we've come here for. That's what we've lost our lives for. So we have been ignited for a calling that affected this planet, and we felt it. The soul awakened. It started uploading, downloading. It was seeking. It was searching. Life was breaking down. The outside world didn't mean anything anymore. The job, why? Boring. What's the point? Marriage, what was the point? Anything, what was the point? We lost everything. But now we're starting to truly understand that we needed to lose the human program and fully embrace who you believe you are. This is not a hobby. Spirituality is not a hobby. It's become something that gave me a responsibility that I didn't want. I didn't want it. I just want to have fun, right? I just want to do crazy things, right? I just want to find love, have a loving girlfriend, have some money, have a home. Just want to have a laugh with my mates, right? It's what we want. Maybe have a dog, maybe have a cat, a couple of kids, have fun, go on holiday once a year, twice a year if you're lucky. Wow. Thanks a bunch. Not a lot to offer, is it? So what I've learned about myself, to know thyself. You don't have to leave the front room. You don't have to separate yourself into this world of it's coming from somewhere. When the human, or the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗍, let's call it the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗍 now, when the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗍 gets it, it's like, oh my God, this is fucking ridiculous. This is, you know, so everything that was a mystery it becomes natural. Everything that you thought was impossible becomes natural. And where you thought you was going crazy, no, that becomes its natural state, because what was crazy was the human world. So leaving the human world I thought was crazy. But now when I'm in this world of where I'm at, and I look at that and I think, wow, that's so crazy. Yeah. But this world here are looking at us and going, you lot are fucking mental. Right?
Right.
But what a great compliment, see? And we're trying to help the people, we're trying to awaken people, we're putting out the knowledge. But I believe this, you know, the ones that got the calling and got the awakening, well, they're the ones that are awakened. You know, it's not always our job to sort of go around and see if we can awaken them, because they will pull you back into the darkness. That's the trick of darkness, see? Is that when the people started to awaken into their true light, that what they found is that they were facing more fear. And what it is that as you start to pull away, the human programming starts to drop and you start to reveal. So this was the cloak. So the human falls away, this starts to get revealed as your true self. And then what you're faced with is a separation now between the world you once knew to who the bloody hell is this doing that, looking at that in a different way. And we get scared, and we go running back into the darkness, and you look at that and go, oh my God, I just had a mad vision or a mad awareness, or I saw space, an alien, or I saw something slipped into this realm, or it's whatever it be. And we kind of get scared. And then we grow and we evolve and we become stronger and we get it and we start to understand the power of gift, of the voice, which is what's being left. And you find the truth in that voice, because that's the true gift. It's the voice. Information is only as good as the voice that it's delivered with. And so therefore, we're being shut down because of our immense power. I know what I've done. And when it comes down to healing, if everyone knew my healing abilities and everyone knew their healing abilities, you wouldn't need pharma. You wouldn't need big pharma.
Right.
You wouldn't need to go and see someone about depression. Depression is the greatest story of awakening ever told. It's unbelievable what I've discovered about depression and all of that stuff, and being on the edge, wanting to kill myself. Now, depression didn't mean it was a week. This was like a fucking 10 to 12 year struggle of actually fighting to stay alive. Every fucking day, every waking moment, trying to stay alive. So my success as a being is it's nothing to do with this material world at all. The success in my story is knowing that the human programming wanted me dead. It didn't want me around. And the soul come in and saved me because I believed in my soul. I believed in my spirit. I believed in myself. I had to. And through all of that information, wow, that's when your journey begins.
Yes.
It begins and it opens up this incredible story. It's like, oh my God. And why wasn't we shown this and why wasn't we taught this? Because, well, you would just have immense abilities. So the evolution of the human, oh my God, is so backward. And people think we are the most intelligent thing on this planet. I tell you what, we're not even on the fucking short list.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And Trevor, your story is fascinating. It's very compelling, and it's very close to my experience as well. You know, I let spirit guide me and take me to the path that I'm on now, and I'm going to continue listening to what my guides and my inner soul is telling me to do. Let's close with this. I know we've gone a little over time. For those in the audience that are maybe reaching this moment where they want to let go and discover more about themselves and maybe talk to spirit, but they're afraid to, just like I said, there's this fear. What is the best advice you give people to jump past that fear and get to the next stage?
Wow, that is the fear. See, that is that dark night of that soul, because it's frightened. You know, your human programming. Let's say it's the ego, but it's not the ego. Let's get beyond that word ego. I'm not liking what people say about the ego because it's just a splinter of a personality of a human, right? But when we look at the whole of the human programming and as the ego, it's your block. And so for me, there was a step in between this and this. And, you know, it's very similar to what you would say, or what the medical company would actually say is bipolar, right? Which means you're in this world, now you're in this world, you're in this world, you're in that world. This world was, what was the difference? If you really break it down, what's the difference of this war? I'm like this, and now I'm like that, now I'm like this, now I'm like that. This world, this one was disempowering. This one was empowering. So that was the difference. See, it's like anyone that's had the awakening where it's like they get it, now they don't get it, now they don't. You know, you could have 2-3 days getting it, and you feel, wow, you could take on. It's love, right? It's like the most amazing loving relationship with somebody, and she's the most wonderful, most beautiful, or he or she or whatever, and it just takes you out of yourself, and there's a connection with someone else there that is like a light igniting, right? A lot of us hopefully have experienced that feeling that's, oh my God. But what if you don't need the relationship to do that? Because that's what everyone craves. They crave that relationship, that connection with a someone, the opposite or same sex, whatever it goes nowadays, but you're looking for somebody. What is that? Why are we looking or yearning for that? Well, we're going in lockdowns. We're being separated. We're being kept away. So you better make sure your partner's going to be, well, is she going to be real or not? It's going to be someone on a screen. So the real love relationship, when the two becomes one, that's when this two, from this, stepping on this and stepping on this, is it this? Is it this? Am I that? Am I this? Am I this? Am I this? Am I that? You learn to have one foot in this world. You learn to have one foot in this world. And what's the important part of the treading them two worlds is that, yes, you're still connected to this. But yes, I understand this. And I use this connection to still be able to understand and work in this realm. But the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 comes in the middle. That's the soul. That's your soul. So that's you. It has no identity in a sense. That's why it's 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. It's just the 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃. But what that 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃 has done in its wisdom and its soulfulness is that it's watching the story play out between the two, between this and this. Sometimes just step out of it and observe, what does it feel like in this position? What does it feel like when you're in this position? So the meaning of life is this. It's just a feeling. Life is a feeling. What does everyone seek? A feeling. And what is that feeling that everyone seeks? Generally, 9 times out of 10, it's the opposite one to what you're feeling. So let's say human made me feel like this. The opposite made me feel like this. So if you ask me, what is 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 about? What is your true self all about? What is healing yourself all about? This 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 being is the opposite to this if I don't even title it anything more than that. And I'll tell you what the difference is. It's a feeling. You seek a feeling within that feels right, because what set you up in this world, in life, did you ever really feel right? Was there just moments when you did feel right, felt good? But a lot of the times you didn't feel right. We did things to try and make us feel right. So in the awakening, it doesn't feel right. But when you keep evolving and keep strengthening and keep asking the correct questions and keep communicating with yourself with intelligence, body, mind, energy, how does the body feel when you're communicating? What is the mind saying to you? Where is the mind diverting where your energy is? Is your energy in your body? Is your energy in a different realm? Is it in a past relationship? Is it stuck in the human programming in the past because you cannot forgive your parents? You're here to be the new in a way. 𝗵𝗵𝗂𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃𝗃 is the new. It's a new identity, and it gives you somebody to store your new information in. So human is filled with shit. It makes you ill. Every problem with everybody, whether it's depression, anxiety, dark night of the soul, cancer, 𝗤𝗵𝗄𝗃𝗃𝗃, divorce, relationship problems, suicidal problems, medicinal problems, illness problems, whatever the problems are, they're human. But you're trying to get to the true feeling of self when your body and your mind and your energy is communicating as one unit, when the two become the one. So these two stories here, you become one with it. Then you're mastering this world and you're mastering this world. And you're coming from a place of not reacting in the way that we used to react in the human way, because that's how they want you to react. They want you to react like a child whose toy or phone has been taken away from them. And that child said, oh, I'll do everything. I promise I'll do this. I promise I'll do the washing up. I promise I'll do. Just give me back my phone. I promise I'll be good. That's what we got going on. So it's a fight over your soul, and you go in and you connect only within self. Forget anything on the outside world. Just let it all go. Gain back your own power and your own gift of what you believe. And if you believe that you come from, you know, as I say to people, planet Zigzag, and you have a message from planet Zigzag, or you've got a perception that planet Zigzag is so much better than this planet, then you speak that truth. Because when we are true to ourselves, there is a feeling that doesn't have a feeling, because it's so true. But when we have self-doubt and don't believe in ourselves, the pain is immense. So life is a feeling. This delivers pain. This hasn't got that pain because pain is human, and that's how they run the world, by keeping its people in pain, and we're here to awaken from that pain. So it's about finding the feeling, feel the feeling, and be the feeling. Because when the human disappears, you'll understand what love is, and it's just a feeling of naturalness. You know what the soul's job is to do. I know why I'm here now, and that's the awakening.
That's wonderful. Trevor, this has been amazing. I'd definitely love to have you back on in the future, speak more. I know we barely scratched the surface of some of this stuff. And for those in the audience that would like to find out more about you, maybe get in touch, what's the best way they can do so?
Well, I've been hacked over the period. Again, the darkness coming in. I think I was one of the first ones when they grabbed hold of my Facebook, so I don't do the Facebook anymore, so don't bother finding me there, because that got completely wiped out, and that's another story. So really, I just put my teachings out on YouTube, and I know they're playing with me on that one as well, but it's just by email. My email is at every end of every video that I've put out there, and I've made it so that it's not even clickable, so that I just don't get people just wanting to click it just to click it and sell me whatever. But it's for people that see my videos and they understand, and they'll get a call in. There'll be a moment in there they'll either want to speak to me or they won't want to speak to me, and I make that information known. You can have a one-to-one with me, hour on Skype or 90 minutes on Skype, and we can talk about many, many different things. Because one of the things that I've realized with people is this: they think they're going crazy, but it's not until you speak to someone as crazy as me, in the nicest possible way, which means I understand crazy. And then when you talk to somebody that think they're going crazy but finds out that it's something that's quite normal, that's transformation. That's transformation that just says, oh wow, I'm not going mental, I'm not going mad. And it's the confirmations, I think, that we're all looking for. But I work on many different levels, anything to do with the human life, the inner world life, and including the spirit life. I mean, our gifts and abilities are beyond anything, because we're unlimited now. I've got unlimited gifts now. The things that I do, I've never done before. And I think we've all got that. So I think that is truly the message. Yes, we are fed up with being a human being, and we've got to make that change. But we've got to start loving ourselves. And how do we do that? The quickest way to love oneself is to stop hating oneself. Stop the hate, love reveals. Simple. How do you control a nation? Keep up the hate. Love never shows itself. And my message really to everyone is, you got to find your 𝗵𝗵. Your 𝗵𝗵. No one left you out. God, the Spirit, the great masters, they didn't leave you out. You have your entire family backing you up. They're in you. They are you. That's your greatness. That's your power. That's your wealth. That's our gift.
Perfect.
That's the new world that we want. And it's incredible. But they don't want that. So we're fighting for our lives in one sense or another. So if you're fighting for your life, you know, hour and a half with me, we definitely get you out of the boxing ring for a little while. That's for sure.
Definitely so. Trevor, this was great. And like I said, I'd love to speak with you more in the future. I'm sure we have a lot to talk about.
We have now.
Yes, that was great. Well, until next time, everyone, have an excellent evening. We will be talking again, possibly tonight for a hangout, but definitely tomorrow for day 0. And then Forbidden Knowledge News will be back on Monday. So we'll see you then.